Hello, everyone, and welcome into the radio program called Simply Life. I'm Keith Casebolt, and my dear friend, who's been traveling and back with us now, who created this show, Gary C. Johnson, across from me. Good to see you.
It's wonderful to be here. Tickled to death to be here. No other place in the world I'd rather be than here.
You mean you don't like standing in long lines and traveling and getting on airplanes? You would rather be here talking to our friends instead of doing all that?
Trust me, young folks. The older you get, the less you will want to travel. That's the way I am.
Travel can
It's too much trouble. It's too much work.
It's trouble and taxing and all that. Yeah.
What's that old saying? It says the best vacation you'll ever have is plan it, then don't go.
Oh, you had a list of quotes, and I think you and I laughed more over that than anything. The greatest vacation in the world is the one that you plan for 2 or 3 months, and then you don't take it and you stay home.
And the other one that we read that I thought was so appropriate was, to be successful, all you need is ignorance and confidence. No. How many of us out there that think we've already got the ignorance? We just need the confidence now, right?
Well, just recently I was with some business people, and I told them that you had found the secret to success. And I said, I can only tell you one of those. You're going to have to figure the other one out, but one of them is confidence. And they said, oh, what's the other one? I said, you'll have to figure it out, just like I did. I didn't want to tell them that it was the ignorance part. Ignorance and confidence,
yep.
The secret to success. If you don't know that you can't do it, then you don't know that you can't do it.
Now, people are worried about this virus. Do you know anybody that's got it?
No. As far as I know, it's all the way over on the West Coast, and Washington State is the only case.
There's maybe one up in New York, maybe.
I think so. Maybe one, yeah.
So, my friends, are you all appropriately worried about it? You're wringing your hands, worrying about what's going to happen, right?
You would be surprised how many people are worried about it.
Then quit. It's foolish. It's no worse than the flu. In fact, it's not as bad as the flu. According to everything I'm reading about it, and I've read a bunch about it, it'll come and it'll go, and that'll be the end of it, and your life will go on. Even if you get it, it looks like it's probably not that big a deal unless you're older. You know, what the heck?
And that could
the flu kills more people. I mean, don't panic. Live your life. Don't let it waste your dash. And please, my friends, stop. If you're worrying about it, quit worrying about it. It's going to be what it's going to be. There's not a thing in the world you can do about it. Get out here and live your life. Wash your hands quite a bit more than you normally would, and don't worry about it. It'll be what it's going to be.
Don't grab the door handles to the bathroom. A few things like that. Yeah. Sanitize your hands, a few things.
I use some acetaminophen and keep it on standby if you get a fever.
You know,
tough it out. I mean, it's not going to. It's going to be what it's going to be, my friends. So quit worrying about it.
Gary, how do we fall into this fear factor? I mean, the stock markets, they've been up and down. They've been all over the place. People are wanting to know what the government's going to do. They're closing down cities, talking about shutting everything down. Where does this major fear arise from in all of this?
Fear's not what's doing that to the market.
Oh, that's the guys that are making the money.
It's the guy that's making the money who's doing it to the market.
He's the one doing that.
That's
but
exactly right.
How about the rest of the fear? I heard on the news this morning that Amazon had sold out of the surgical masks, and there was a shortage on them now, and they couldn't be found anywhere.
And everything I read says that's worthless.
That it's not going to stop it.
That after you get it, put you a mask on to keep from giving it to somebody else. But it's not going to keep you from getting it.
Wow. Okay. And it has to be somebody that's infected in order to give it to you, right?
Supposedly.
You know, since you brought this subject up.
It's a respiratory disease just exactly like the flu.
Mm-hmm.
You treat it exactly the same way. Lots of fluids, rest. You get sick and you get it. Stay home. Be careful. And last it out.
That was the expert.
Just like every other disease. Could you imagine all the people that are dying of cancer every day?
Thousands
of them. And yet nobody's talking about that. You had that tornado down there in Nashville that killed 19 or 20 people. And that just happened just like that. This whole virus in the United States hasn't killed, about 5 or 6?
Yeah, I think so. I'd talked to you on the phone, and I was like, aren't you afraid of traveling? Aren't you worried about this? And you were like, Keith, it's not that big right now. You can wash your hands, but you don't need to be crippled by that. And then the news comes out a day ago in Nashville, a middle-of-the-night tornado hits downtown and kills 19 people.
Now, if you want to be worried about something you can actually do something about, I'm going to give it to you, my friends. Last year, in 2019, 38,800 people were killed on the highways in this country.
38,800.
In car crashes.
So here we are, all of the national news, everything that we're talking about is this virus that has claimed the lives of at least 4 or 5 people. You're sitting here telling me we had 38,000 people lose their lives last year to automobile accidents.
Right at 39,000. 4.4 million last year actually were injured in car crashes. They got hurt and had to be treated. Now, where's the virus in comparison to these statistics?
So you're saying if we're going to worry about something, we should worry about the way that we operate our vehicle, the attention that we pay to driving, our seat belts.
Seat belts, absolutely. Don't, obey the speed limit. If weather conditions change, slow down. If you're the one driving, that should be the only thing you're doing, because you're responsible for the lives of those other people in that vehicle. You have to be really proactive in watching what other drivers are doing anymore. You come up to a red light and you stop. Do not pull out until you look to make sure all the traffic has stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Then pull out. Just because the light turns green doesn't mean you pull out if you're going to be safe. There may be some idiot coming down through there that's texting or something that isn't even looking at the light, flying down the road, that's going to barrel right through that light. You have to be on constant vigilance when you're driving. A lot of people are driving that's listening to this radio program right now. Be vigilant. Your job, and it's a job, is to get that car and you and your passengers from point A to point B safely. Now, there's times you can't prevent it, what some idiot does to run over you. But if you're vigilant, you will have a bunch of near misses in your life.
So today, as we're doing this program, at the heavy intersection, there was a car that had been stalled in the right lane. There's no doubt this individual was looking over at the vehicle that was stalled, ran the red light, and every car slammed on their brakes, and they avoided a major wreck just by an inch. Mm-hmm. And there's no doubt that the car that ran the red light was watching the car on the side. They were looking back to see who it was, why they were stopped, as opposed to watching what they were doing.
Every wreck is because someone violated a safety rule. Okay. Every wreck.
I'm glad you said that. We've got a bunch of new listeners now throughout central and eastern Kentucky. We're on stations. Talk to me about the fact that people get upset when you say there is no such thing as an accident. Because I still get people today that say, yeah, but it was just an accident.
All you have to do is peel the layers off of what happened. And you will find that some human being didn't do what was required of them in exercising ordinary care to prevent that event. There is no such thing as an accident. It happens because somebody didn't do what they should have done, whether it's a corporation or an individual or what. And folks, some of you are saying, well, that's not true. Think back on it. Everything you think that was an accident, that you've called an accident, why did it happen?
Go through the steps
Go
of
through
what
the
took
steps.
place.
And when you peel the layers of the onion back,
Mm-hmm.
you will find that it could have been avoided had someone done what a reasonably prudent person should have done.
So even to the person right now that's going to say, wait a minute, Gary, the car in front of me stopped and slammed on their brakes. And you're going to say, were you going too close to the car? Were you speeding? Whatever it is.
It may be that the person that slammed on their brakes
It was their fault.
caused it.
But it wasn't an accident.
But it wasn't an accident.
Because they may have dropped the soda they were having, and when it spilled, they hit the brakes. Now that's not an accident.
It's not an accident. That's the point I'm making.
So if they say the accident, Gary, was I dropped the soda in my lap, you shouldn't have had the soda in your hands.
The only exception is an act of God, to where that something happens, that there's a tornado or some major thing happens.
Like we just saw that happened in Nashville.
Some instant flooding or something.
Yeah, the middle of the night.
Then it's not an accident. Then it's an act of God.
So these people were in their beds asleep. It's the middle of the night, no warning. A tornado hits Nashville, and there's a loss of life. That was an act.
No, it's not an accident. It's an act of God.
Act of God.
It's still not an accident.
There's still a reason behind it.
Right. It was because of the tornado. There's a reason bad things happen.
When you start peeling back the layers.
When you peel the layers back every single time.
And if it's not that individual's fault or the other individual's fault, it could be a mechanical fault. There could be a fault with the vehicle.
It could be that the car did not do what it was supposed to do.
We've seen that.
Many times. It could be that there was something put beside the road that totally obstructed a person's vision so that they couldn't exercise ordinary care. There was always a reason when something bad happens. And it always can be traced back to a human being not doing what they should have done.
I saw a certain brand of car, and I'm not going to mention the brand because I'm not for sure about it, but it had the technology that would brake for you. Something had gone wrong with the technology, and this vehicle was sensing that it needed to brake, but you were out in the middle of traffic, and all of a sudden the vehicle put on the brakes. And people were thinking this individual that's driving the car is doing it, but it wasn't. It was the sensor. So those things exist.
Happen all the time.
Not an accident.
If you check back, you'll find that the human being that programmed it, that should have, something was, when it was manufactured, somebody didn't do what they should have done.
Didn't run the test to see if there could be a problem with it.
It's like all these airbag cases. Everybody thought, well, we've got airbags in our car, we're going to be safe. It turns out the airbags are more dangerous than anything. Well, the people that manufactured it probably knew that, but they wanted to sell the airbags.
Well, touch on this too, because I had another friend say, but you know, companies do so good. They recall things when they know they're bad. Tell us why things get recalled. There's a reason that the vehicles or the...
Generally, the government orders them to do a recall. Generally.
But is that because of the attention brought by the attorneys?
And the other reason they would do a recall is word's out, and they know that if someone gets hurt, they're going to get sued. Because if you didn't have lawyers that were willing to sue them, there wouldn't be no recalls.
There's no accountability.
Why would they?
It would be a financial decision.
Do you think they would ever recall, a corporation would ever recall anything just because out of the goodness of its heart? Corporations don't have a heart.
And lose millions and millions and millions of dollars of money in dividends?
For the dividends for the share? No, not going to happen.
I wouldn't think that CEO is going to make that call.
He would after he found out he was going to get in trouble, maybe. But
because he makes it then because he realizes it's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars because of the accountability. So, no such thing as an accident. You can have this conversation with your friends or at the office, but as Gary pointed out, when you pull back the layers, you'll find someone was at fault.
I was looking through some of my stuff. I ran into this promises to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to share them with my friends again because it's been a long time since we've made talked about the promises to me. Now, here's the first promise you need to make yourself. I will take control of my life. I will be the captain of my soul. I will be thankful for today and for everyone in my life. I will thank the Lord for a second chance every day.
I really like that. You know, that would be a great little prayer to open up with every day of your life.
Every day of your life.
Yeah.
Here's another one that each of you need to make to yourself. Because you only have one body, you need to love and cherish and take care of that body. It's the only one you'll ever have. And it's got to last you the rest of your life. Okay?
And it does get older and it does get weaker if you don't take care of it.
And you say, oh, no, I need another one. Now, there's no do-overs. You better take care of the one you got. The promise to me, I will take better care of my health. Now, how can you do that? You can't do anything about genetics. You can't do anything about when someone actually harms you through trauma. You can't do much about viruses, germs, bacteria, or cancer, right?
Those are things you can't do anything about.
But you can drink lots of water.
Mm-hmm.
You can eat low-sodium foods. You can eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. And you can have enough sense to quit when you're full, right?
Oh, to some of our friends that's never heard your direct form of motivation, I had told Gary not long ago, I said, I really want to get in better shape and lose some weight. And he said, do you know what to do? And I said, yeah. He said, then, okay, do it and stop talking about it. And I was like, okay, that took care of that. I mean, these are things that you can do that will benefit you.
Your body, for your life. After all, the whole purpose of it all is to live a good, healthy life and be happy.
Yeah.
Not be having any stress, not worry about things you can't change. Don't worry about this virus. It's going to do whatever it's going to do. Whether you worry about it or not, it's going to be what it's going to be.
Go back to that word that you just said, stress, which causes so many ailments because we are
depression, anxiety,
stressed out and worried about all the things that are going to happen.
It makes you grumpy and quarrelsome.
Oh.
Puts you in a bad mood.
And stress even goes to that misery where misery loves company because people right now are saying, Gary, I hear you, but don't you know all the bad things that are going on around us?
Yeah, I just choose to ignore them.
There's nothing.
I can't do anything about them.
Not a lot we can do about it, right?
Now, let's talk a little bit, since we're talking about promises to ourselves. Let's talk about exercise.
Here we go.
Movement.
Movement is golden.
30 minutes a day minimum. If you're going to the grocery store, don't try to wait to get the place closest parking place. Go park in the one the farthest away. There'll be plenty of those.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people didn't hear the program, right?
Right.
So every step you get going to the grocery store and back to your car is movement.
Those add up. And really popular now is the little Fitbit bracelet, or even most of your smartphones will track how many steps you do a day.
If you have a choice of an elevator or if there's stairs by, take the stairs. Take your time, take the stairs. Do some squats. Now, here's why squats are so important, my friends. As you get older, we get weak in our legs.
Yes.
And if we don't do squats, we will get to the point where we can't get out of a chair. Now, isn't that embarrassing, the thoughts of not being able to get out of a chair?
Yeah.
So, prepare right now. Do some squats. Make those legs, work those legs, exercise those legs. You have control. It's your choice.
Yeah, I noticed you didn't say getting up out of the floor. So, I mean, you were just all the way up to the chair.
Yeah. Join a fitness class or something, anything, but do movement. And movement, my friends, is mandatory. It is not an option. You literally move for your life. Now, we said all of that. What else do we need if we're going to have a nice, healthy life? We need rest. And somebody said, boy, I'm sure glad you got around to that.
This is also true.
Set you a certain time for bed and go to bed. Sleep is essential to good health. Period. And we mentioned stress a minute ago. And I will say to my friends again, stop worrying. Life. Tickle your own self if nothing else, but do some laughing. It's healthy. Always smile.
You know, I got to tell you something. The old Three Stooges show. I caught my boys the other day watching it. You know, they're young guys, and they're watching the Three Stooges, and they are laughing so hard they can't breathe. And I thought, that is the best medicine in the world. What you just said. Get you a comedy on. Get yourself a good laugh.
And if you can, forgive all transgressions against you, either real and especially the ones you've imagined. Because trust me, that's one of the big things in life, is all of the imagined things that people have done to you that they probably don't even know about.
Boy, you're talking about losing some weight. You'll lose a lot of weight off of your shoulders if you can take that advice and you can get rid of that burden. Because it's pretty hard to carry that around, isn't it?
And in going further with my friends, promises to themselves, if you can, stop smoking. Okay?
Yeah.
And I know you can do this, my friends, if you would, stop drinking soda. That or otherwise. Just stop doing it. They're equally bad for you. Drink water. You can do that. It's not like trying to quit smoking. Just don't do it. Instead of eating 2 pieces of bread, eat 1. Cut back on your bread.
Gary, I heard someone talk that said they had an idea of how to do this, and it's like just replace one habit with a good habit. So what you were just saying about the soda to the water, you're not asking people to stop having something to drink. You're just saying replace the bad one with the good one, and it will become a habit to you.
Yeah. And in our promises to me that we're making, the next one I want to talk to you about, friends, is promise you will make, I will control my attitude. Now, what did Winston Churchill have to say about attitude? He said, attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference.
Isn't that the truth?
You choose how you view what is happening around you. You can choose negative or you can choose positive. The question is, my friends, which one is going to make you feel good? The negative or the positive? It's a no-brainer.
So it's as simple as that. Today, we can sit here and say, whatever comes toward me, I'm going to choose to look at it in the most positive light I can.
Right.
And that little prayer you opened up with, I'm going to be thankful that I'm here today, and we can choose to make it as positive as we can.
On your attitude, avoid negative people. If people are around you being negative, get away from them.
Boy, now you've done something.
Surround yourself with happy, positive people.
Now look what you've done. There's going to be people that have to walk up to other individuals and go, I'm sorry, I can no longer be around you because you're negative and you're bringing me down, and Gary said I have to be happy.
And my friends, if one of you that has a tendency to be negative that's listening to this program, stop doing it. Become one of those people that everybody loves to see coming. Put a smile on your face. Change your attitude. Just do it. It's that easy. It's a choice you make.
Wasn't that the test you asked us to take the next time we're in Walmart, is when we see someone Notice if they turn and run away from you or if they're smiling when they come toward you, because that's going to tell you what kind of attitude you have.
And when you have those negative thoughts, say them out loud or write them down. And when you say them out loud or write them down, you will see just how stupid they are.
How absolutely destructive, horrible,
Right.
insulting, and downright mean they are.
And get them out there, put them out in the open, face them, and then deal with it and change it. Because after all, my friends, I can't imagine any of you not wanting to be happy.
And Gary, the reason you're telling all this, you see people on a daily basis that's got every reason in the world to be bitter. They've had their jobs taken away, their livelihoods, their health, everything because of, horrible wrecks. So you see people that's got a reason to complain, and these people don't complain. They're just happy to be alive.
I don't know at the times that they've sat there with broken arms and legs and said, I just thank the Lord I'm alive.
Yeah. I asked you one time, I said, you console your clients? And you said, no, they end up consoling me. I'm tore all to pieces, and they're going, Gary, I'm going to be all right. It's going to be okay. I'm happy to be alive.
Yeah, I made it. The Lord saved me.
And they've got this great attitude. So you're sitting here telling all of us we can control this. If one of our friends today says, okay, you got through to me. I'm the one person that needed to listen to this show, and I'm going to do what you say. How long is it going to take before this becomes a routine and a habit and becomes easy for them to do?
You'd be amazed what a week will do.
7 days.
Because of all the positive response you'll get back.
And the way you're going to feel.
And the way you feel. I mean, it feels good to feel good. I hate feeling bad. If a negative thought enters my head, I try my best to get it out of there. Because it's not going anywhere except to make me feel bad.
And take up time that you can't get back.
I don't have that time to give it. Every minute I've got in this life, I intend to use it feeling good instead of bad if I can. Now, there are some things like grief that you can't stop.
Sure.
But on ordinary dealings with the world, I don't have any enemies. I don't think. If I do, I don't remember who they are. If somebody's messed over me, I swear I forgot it. Because
they probably thought it was in their best interest to do it or something.
I'm not giving up that part of me and my feel-goodness in my life to worry about what somebody else is doing or not doing. That's their world, and they live in it. And whatever someone else's life is, my friends, you are responsible for your life.
Yeah.
You are responsible for how you feel. You can't control anyone else. You can't control their happiness. You can't make anybody else happy. You're lucky if you can make yourself happy. So let's work on number one and say, okay, well, number one, I really like you. You're pretty good. You're unique. Yep. There's no other person like you. That's right. You're one of a kind. Yep. There's something you can do that's pretty good at it, right? Okay, yeah, this is good. Now let's go out and face the world.
And smile.
And smile.
So there it is. It's a 7-day test. All the things that Gary talked about. Give it 7 days and see what it does for your life. My friend, this was such an enjoyable conversation. We flew through the whole half hour. It was that quick. You can catch Gary's television show on Tuesday nights in Eastern Kentucky on WYMT, your CBS affiliate, at 7 p.m. on Tuesdays. A late-night replay is in Central Kentucky on WKYT. And now you can catch an early morning Monday to start your week show at 6:30 on your Fox affiliate, also in Lexington, and our radio show is every week. If you need to get a hold of Gary, it's GaryCJohnson.com. My friend, this was uplifting.
I hope. I hope.
I'm happy and smiling. Hopefully our friends are too.
I'm definitely happy.
On behalf of Gary C. Johnson, I'm Keith Casebolt. Thank you so much for taking this time to join us. As always, Gary and I look forward to seeing you again next week, right here at this same time.